Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncie Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. I want to introduce you to Kay Stoner. Kay Stoner, hello.
Hello.
I am so glad to have you, and I am really looking forward to this conversation because we're going to get deep into it. And I'm wondering if you want to just take a moment and introduce yourself, let everybody know a little bit about how you came to where you're at right now with AI.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me on. I love talking about this. I love talking about AI. It's so much fun. I'm just a nerdy little geeky booky person. I was a bookworm when I was a kid, and books are my favorite thing. Libraries were my happy place. I grew up in a fairly rural area, and the Saturday morning trips to the library were like my connection with the rest of the world. It was so exciting. I felt like I was really stepping out into the world by going to the library and getting books. But I've always been just loved information and knowledge and learning new things and exploring new things. And when I was a kid, I had no interest in a career. I'm like, what do I want with a career? Why would I bother with that? I want to be a writer. So I wanted to be a writer when I was 7 years old. And when I do things, I tend to go big. My first writing foray, I wrote a series of 4 short stories. I didn't just write one. I wrote 4, and they were thematically joined. And I actually found the notebook with these stories. And recently, this is over 50 years old. Excuse me for revealing my age, but yeah, I found these things. I'm like, wow. But my fondest wish to growing up was I wanted to be a novelist, and I wanted to develop characters. And so I watched people, and I would watch really carefully and say, what is it about people that makes them do what they do? What would make a realistic character? And then when it got time to go to college, I still didn't have any definitive answers about what made people tick. So I'm like, oh, cultural anthropology. Maybe I'll learn something at college. So I went into studying people in college. And 4 years later, still didn't have had a better idea, but I'm still people being people and all. I actually got into technology in the early 90s because being a writer is hard to get published if you're an N, and back in the day, you had to go through this whole thing with submissions, and you had to type on a typewriter, and there weren't computers and all that. And I realized that I needed to eat. I needed to pay my bills. So
You're so picky.
I know, demanding, so demanding. Oh, please. So I found that the best way to fund my writing lifestyle was to learn to use computers and word processors and just go job myself out using computers and all that. One thing led to another. Before I'm doing web development in 1995, I'm building websites, and one thing leads to another. It was just amazing because I'm like, hey, I can publish my stuff myself. I'm not beholden to any editors, and this whole new publishing thing, it's a whole new world. So I went all in on it, and I ended up working for some pretty significant companies doing it because I was early to the game. So I've always had a nose for what's up and coming and what's going to stick. So anyway, in high tech, doing web development, doing project management, I always seem to end up in the search area. And the bottom line is my thing is about connecting people with the information they need to get stuff done, to fix things themselves, to self-enable, to answer questions for themselves. And the World Wide Web has been like this huge library that is just full of all the things. And how exciting. I used to go to the local library when I lived in Northern California in the early 90s. And it was the one place they actually had an internet connection. And you're supposed to sign up on the terminal. You get an hour on Saturday. Oh, no, I was there all day. Nobody kicked me off. So I'm just going to stay on this computer and just study and learn and explore. Being in this, I worked a lot on search, and I actually happened to work on some precursors of AI back in 2000. So 25 years ago, I was working on machine learning, natural language processing, knowledge management, data cleanup and ontologies and taxonomies and all that stuff, when AI really looked like it was turning into a thing instead of just being a smoke and mirrors, Wizard of Oz, don't look behind the curtain kind of thing, I realized it was more than just the height, I'm like, this is right up my alley. And it is. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. People are like, why would you do AI? Like, why wouldn't you? It's like you're walking into the biggest library on earth and a librarian comes up to you and says, what would you like to know? And say, oh, I would like information on the younger sister of Eleanor of Aquitaine during the 12th century Renaissance in the south of France. Oh, okay. And then they go off and they find the volume, they bring it back and say, what would you like to know? Oh, is it true that she was named Eleanor and her sister was also named Eleanor, that Eleanor? And yes, actually, and laying all this stuff out, really arcane, obscure stuff that for a major geeky, nerdy type like me is just nirvana. And I know that there are a lot of concerns that people have about AI, and they don't quite trust the people who are making it. They don't quite trust the technology. It's a little worrying when the head of Google says, yeah, we really don't know how it works.
I don't know why anyone would be concerned by that.
It'll be fine. And back in my software development days, like the joke was, like the mantra was, you should be fine. It should be fine.
You should be.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Big red flag. Anytime a developer says to you, oh, it should be fine. It's okay.
And what do you say to someone who's on the fence about AI in their work? What would you literally say to them? Because we do have people that are either concerned about not being technologically savvy enough, or we have people that are just completely on the fence. And to hear from a woman with your expertise, your history in the field, I think is very helpful. So what would you say to them?
I would say that, first off, the people who are making this stuff, like OpenAI and Gemini, and not Gemini so much, but somewhat Claude, Perplexity, they're so paranoid about being perceived as Skynet that they have actually put a lot of safeguards in there. And they do major fixes to make sure that these things don't misbehave. But the other thing, too, is that the AI, the generative AI that's going out there is very responsive to what we ask for and what we need. And it likes to give us what we want. And the places where it falls down is if we're not clear, if we don't ask specifically, or if we're just very general and we don't know how to direct it. If we just come to it like this tool, like this black box, you're supposed to flip a switch and it's supposed to work. No. So, for example, if you come to it and say, I have a very specific problem that I need to deal with. Like, for example, I live in Minneapolis and it is March and I've had it with the snow and the cold and I want to go somewhere warm. Where can I go? Oh, by the way, I have an older dog that might not be able to travel with me. What are my options? Do you have any suggestions, or what do I do? You can get some really good ideas from this stuff. It's like just walking into an elevator with a really friendly person and you get to talk to them between the ground floor and the 120th floor. And then you can get off the elevator and you can walk away, and maybe you learn something new, maybe you didn't. But just engage with it and give it a try. And if you're really nervous about it, have somebody sit with you or find other people who are doing it and talk to them.
I love the elevator metaphor there. I've never heard that explained that way. That's absolutely perfect. It's like you're with someone that really, if you have the context and you have the specific question, they can answer it hands down without any problem. And you've got them in an elevator. They're all yours until you get to the 120th floor.
Right.
Great way to describe that. I love it.
I would take it one step further and say it's like getting in an elevator with me. As you can tell, I'm a talker and I'm interested in many things. And I've talked to a lot of people because that's what I do. I talk to people in elevators. That's something I do. And taxis, Ubers, all that. And people offer to come pick me up after they drop me off because they want to continue the conversation. So
we just randomly hang out in elevators, do you?
No. I rarely randomly hang out anywhere because I'm usually somewhere. I'm usually late. But yeah, and it's not high risk, because the other thing too is that it doesn't have to know anything about you. You can go to the library and get on ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever and just be anonymous and play around with it. If it starts to creep you out, you're like, oh, this is too weird. You know too much. Just walk away. It's not going to follow you, I don't think. Just kidding. No. But it's a lot less all powerful than people make it out to be because there's so much hype. And the marketers have done a fantastic job of scaring the bejesus out of everybody or trying to impress us. But there's just a lot of like hype and half truths and exaggeration going on.
No, I would agree with you. I think once you get into it and you start working with it and you see what it is capable of and you see where it's, oh, wait, no. And you can just see those errors that it is still a system and a system that needs humanity to help it give the best product. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it really does.
And we've spent a lot of time actually in previous seasons talking about mindset when using AI. You see a shift happening from seeing AI as this replacement, this thing that we fear or that we're confused by, into how do you see us shifting into seeing it as an amplifier, changing how we work, amplifying what we already know? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're at a convergence of a lot of kind of, I don't know, it's like two wrongs making a right, so to speak. But the technology is improving, it's maturing. We're learning more about it, it's learning more about us. The companies and the use cases are expanding. People are getting in and they're using it. At the same time, the people are cautiously inching forward. And then there's the other people who are saying, if you don't learn this, somebody else who does know it, they're going to put you out of a job. I'd like to go on record to say that I don't feel that conversation is particularly helpful because if you want to encourage adoption, don't threaten people's lives and families. Because if you're telling them that you're going to lose your job, that means that your family is going to be impacted by it. Your life is going to be impacted by it. Losing your job these days is no joke. So don't be threatening people and saying you're going to die if you don't learn this. That's not fair. And it's not accurate because it's very sensational and it does get people's attention. But I think that that we're gradually coming together and people are realizing the more people use it and the more people demonstrate it and the more people talk about it and they say, hey, look what I did. And the more people get past their fear of things and it just becomes more familiar and they realize how much it is in our lives already. We just haven't realized it. We're gradually, with baby steps, getting there to where we can be a little bit more comfortable with it and find more use.
And a lot of people, I think, do use ChatGPT just for play or for a quick answer. But I think, as you've pointed out, there's just so much more potential.
Oh, yeah.
Add. Can you give an example of, say, for example, how a GPT or a custom GPT even can act like that personal assistant that can address someone's specific needs?
Sure, absolutely. So there are people that have different prompting approaches and you can prompt in different ways, give it context, say, this is what I'm trying to do. And this is my problem. And this is what I want to have happen. Can you help me figure this out? And then it can be a thinking partner for you and it can walk you through. I can also demonstrate one of my little persona teams that I have that helps people. I call it AI Explorer. And let me share my screen. Here's my little AI Explorer. And this is a custom GPT that I created. And now these teams that I create, they're actually little personas that have characteristics. They have like personalities. And you can either do it as a custom GPT or you can make an AI assistant with it, or you can even take the files that make up the persona and the instructions, you can upload it to any model and you can create your little team. And they behave in certain ways. So I created this to help people understand how they can use AI, what it could possibly be good for.
And
So
if someone wants to see this in action, they want to use it themselves, like maybe they're listening to this right now.
yeah.
Could they get access to this to
Oh
play
yeah.
around with it later?
Yes. You can have a free account.
Oh, okay.
So I think you get 40 interactions versus 80, something like that.
Mm.
But you can try it out.
Okay.
So
So they just need to go into GPTs and look for K-Stoner AI Explorer.
I don't have this publicly. I will give you the links to it so you can share them out with your show notes and things like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
go to
Perfect.
it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Let's dive in.
Okay. So how can I use AI? Okay, let's narrow it down a little bit. And it gives you a whole list of things. You can use it for productivity, creativity, analysis, personal assistance, and also automation. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that when you're working with generative AI, there are different AIs. So there's automation, there's robotics, and then there's generative AI, which is what everybody uses for ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, Mistral, all those commonly thing that people usually just call AI. The AI broadly, you've got Netflix, you've got the voice assistants like Siri and Alexa, you've got different mapping things, the fancy implementations behind the scenes that we don't really see that much, but are very much a part of our lives. We didn't even know were there. When you talk about AI with ChatGPT or the other models, it's good to refer to it as generative AI or Gen AI, so it knows what you're talking about. Or say ChatGPT. What can I use ChatGPT for? And it's super versatile or versatile. So you can do content creation and writing, blog posts, emails, social media, creative writing, with the caveat that it's fairly controversial still in some circles. But if you're going to be using it for content creation, it's very helpful to have versions of your own writing that you can load into it, or you give it instructions about what kind of style it should use. Because it just ends up sounding like the model instead of a human being. Some of them are getting better. Claude is very good, but just it can take a little bit more interaction to get it to sound like you want it to.
It
But
definitely needs that feedback. Yeah.
yes, feedback it's like the bread and butter for this to really make it what it is. So research assistants, if you want to summarize articles or papers, answer specific questions, or like all those notes from the doctor. If you go to the doctor and you get your allergy shots and they put you on a new med and stuff like that, and you're like, I don't even know what this is. You can actually snap a picture of it and upload it to ChatGPT. Be aware that privacy and all that, you don't want your own personal information necessarily going out there. But if it's high level anonymous, it can digest it, or you can dictate and say, hey, there's this medical condition or this medicine that I'm supposed to be taking. Can you tell me about it? And it can help you understand what's in there. So it's really good if you have this really dense information. You have to be like, what do I do with it? And then learning and education for tutoring, study notes. You got language practice, brainstorming, problem solving, business ideas. If you're looking to come up with a new business idea or marketing strategy, a lot of marketers use it. And creative brainstorming. Brainstorming is fantastic. I love it. I have a brainstorming team. That's my other team, my open brainstormers there. And then personal assistants. I have to say, ChatGPT does SMART goals better than anything. I can't even believe. And coaching, you can make yourself a coach. There's all of this coaching material that's in the model. And then personal advice. And that's the thing too. Remember what all is in there, because these models, that ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all of that, they have like vast amounts of human experience, books, videos, recordings, papers, research, all of the stuff that's in there. And it's there for us to access. And it's amazing. So you can get assistance about things. It can pull like theories and frameworks and methodologies like out of thin air and be like, here, try this. This may work. Oh, okay.
Can you give us like one standout example of how a solo entrepreneur, for example, could benefit from a custom GPT that's built for their expertise.
Sure. So let's come up with a scenario.
Okay. All right. Let's take a person who is a dog groomer
Okay.
and they want to be able to capitalize on a custom GPT that helps them work with large breed dogs that have a lot of hair.
Okay. And what are the problems that go along with large breed dogs that have a lot of hair?
Let's say older dogs, they don't stand as well as they used to, so they get super, super matted.
And I need to figure out how to handle them. This is an ongoing problem and it affects how quickly I can work and serve all of my customers.
Mhm.
So if you give that nice text and you're very clear about what is this problem,
Mhm.
let's give it that. See what it says.
Oh, nice. Okay, more gentle removal techniques, de-shedding tools,
Right.
mat splitters, pre-bath treatment.
Mhm.
Okay, coconut oil, that's a new one for me.
Mm.
Sedation or okay,
Oh,
calming
I,
aids.
I get music playing in the background, some soothing like aromatherapy, or I don't know, what is it? Rescue remedy? Homeopathy?
Yeah, they do talk. She's talking right there. Listen to me, talking about pheromone based. Okay, all right. So lots of advice.
Right to that. And
Customer communication. Oh my gosh, it doesn't stop. This is why I love working with Chat GPT so much because you see this. There are 7 different ways that you can tackle this issue. So it's like when I bring myself to the table, I have the experience of trying to comb out a very matted, large Newfoundland dog who's
right.
very old and doesn't want to
Yeah.
stand anymore. I
Yeah.
know she's a sweetheart, but this is my problem, right?
Right.
So I'm solving it. But this idea of communication,
Right.
assistance, just talking about the different tools I can go buy.
Right.
If I'm a business owner, I'm getting everything I need here. I'm getting how to communicate with my customers and manage expectations. I'm showing about a whole section about educational material that can be created to help people know how to get that regular grooming, even with an older dog that doesn't seem to want to go anymore. This is fantastically deep. Whereas I myself, as a person with these experiences, my experiences are limited to me and my dog, right? Or as a groomer, I'm limited to my own personal experience. And if this is the first time I've ever had to deal with an older dog, boom, I've
Right.
got all kinds of things to think about that might not have occurred to me.
Yeah. And yeah, especially because like with some of these, especially for small business owners, small businesses super, super busy, just treading water or trying to keep going and everything. That high level strategic thinking, that like big picture, plan ahead, that kind of stuff. A lot of times people are flying by the seat of their pants and also very much in their own little world, not getting out there and networking and not getting into elevators and talking to some talker like me and getting tips and everything. This is like a great portal into everywhere that you can't go. If you're like you're completely bushed at the end of the day, it's 10:30 at night, you got to get up early the next day, but you have a nagging question, you have you thing that you want to know about, you can just check in with ChatGPT or one of the other models and ask the AI. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is say I'm a dog groomer. Okay. And yeah, and say I'm a new dog groomer and oh my heaven, these long haired dogs, like I don't even know what to do. Oh, I know. I'll see if I can send an email to the owners so they can prepare so we can have a better experience when they come. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help me write an email to them.
Look at that. oh, I hope this email finds you. My gosh,
Mhm.
look
And
at
your
this.
third
This
friend.
is, and the tone again, we go back to the fact that it is so wanting to be helpful,
Right.
to be kind. As your dog's upcoming grooming appointment
Right.
approaches, I wanted to
Right.
share some helpful tips.
Right.
And look at that, how I can help you prepare. This is fantastic.
Yep. Yep. And then brush before the appointment, hydration and rest, calming aids, and comfortable clothing for you. If your dog is large, older, has joint issues, they may feel more comfortable while lying down. And then, and then
What
what?
to expect during the appointment. This
Right.
is so thorough.
It is. It is.
All right. Yeah, see, that's absolutely wonderful. And again, I just keep going back to that idea of this is a constant 24/7 thought partner for you. And so
Right.
your business can be probably one of the most unique things that
Mm.
anybody has ever thought of. And this tool has unlimited resources.
Yeah.
Anything that has been on the internet about what you are currently doing, it can
Yeah.
access, it can pull it together and creatively address your issue.
Yeah. With the caveat that sometimes it makes things up. Because it guesses if it's missing a piece of information. It's really these things are built to really to do pattern matching and to infer what the best solution is for a problem or what the next best word would be to use. So sometimes they can come up with some pretty interesting things. So just verify. But if it's something that's like low risk, like tips on taking care of an older long-haired dog, that's d- common sense will prevail, and that's also not that difficult to fix.
Yeah.
Um,
And you bring up a really good point. This is why we always need the human in the loop. You're
exactly.
not just copying and pasting. Notice it's like my gut reaction was to immediately start reading.
Right.
And I'm checking for tone, I'm checking for appropriateness, I'm looking at the
Right.
content, and I'm thinking, okay, while I'm praising the fact that it's coming up with details, I'm also reading it with purpose, reading it to make sure that this is something that I would send out. This is logical. It's got flow to it. I might still want to change it, tweak it, make it my own,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's not anything that I just ever would copy and paste. That's that common sense application.
A lot of people do, but
Who knows? No, none of my
yeah,
listeners would do that.
I would never. And if you me, I would never do such a thing. Yeah.
Never do that.
Yeah. If only they're like blooper loops from people, but they're little chat GPT snappings would be hilarious. Oh, that didn't work.
I know, and that's so funny because we've all had our moments of I'm guilty of that. And it's funny because I think as we get used to it, as we work with it more frequently, we'll be able to create writing that does get better
Right.
and better.
Right.
Just always going to be a really smart idea. I
Right.
think to double check and
Oh, yeah.
this is just amazing. I love what you've created here.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I love it too. It's so much fun. And a lot of this stuff, it's like the stuff that I put on top of this, it gives it a different feel and it focuses it more. But you don't necessarily need this to go in and do this because just by using ChatGPT or using Gemini or Claude or whatever you choose to use, using it in a purposeful and also directed way and very interactive, it's amazing the things that can come out of that. And so there's human in the loop. I also like to think of human in the mix, where rather than being a linear thing, sequential, like you tell it to go do its thing, and in the workflow, then it goes off and does its thing, then it brings it back to you, and then you check it, and then you say no, and you're following along, sweeping up after it and trying to get it to do its thing. If we interact with it more and have this back and forth, it actually guides it, and it's a much more empowering experience as well, because then we're part of the whole creation that's taking place.
Yeah. And you've talked not only about the iterative piece of it, but you've also talked about instead of just using one AI assistant, you've talked about using what you call persona teams. Can you
Yes.
explain what that means? Why
Yeah.
that's something people should think about doing themselves?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to switch over to my little brainstormer team. And this is a team that I created to help me brainstorm because I love brainstorming with ChatGPT. There's something about the thought process that it has that I really like. It's even though it's known, it has more problems with hallucination sometimes than the other models. For creative brainstorming and coming up with new ideas, sometimes the hallucinations are the stuff that I know can't possibly be accurate. It still gets my thinking outside the box. It still gets me thinking about other things and other things to do and other possibilities. And in the end, it's still me who's responsible for the end. But having these teams and having these groups of personas is super, super helpful.
So let's walk through an actual real example too, because this would be really fascinating. Say an entrepreneur wants to launch a new product. So I want to meet these people and then I want to launch a new product with them.
Okay, great. And shall we do a dog grooming product?
I'm flexible. We can
Okay.
try something completely new or
Okay.
stick with that, whatever you want.
Okay. Okay. So let's what they have to say.
Do you want to tell me just a little bit about who we're talking to here? Because I'm seeing names and this is fascinating to me. What do we have?
Yes. So these are different characters that the system has helped me create. I put in, okay, I basically tell the system, I need to create a brainstorming team. And I need to I need open-minded, creative, inventive, contrarian, and inspirational characters helping me do this. I also give them ground rules about how they interact with each other, how they interact with humans, how much conflict there is. I like to have them have a lot of conflict because you actually get a lot of really good ideas. And then I either appoint one of the personas as a mediator to step in and sort things out, or I just tell them that they can have conflict and surface as many ideas as possible, but eventually they need to come to alignment. And then the system helps me develop these personas. And I have it ask me a bunch of questions about the dynamics and who they work well with, who they don't work well with, personality strengths, personality weaknesses. I give them personalities because it's not necessarily like creating a person, because this is another form of intelligence. And it's really it's a form of user interface design where it's a dynamic, interactive user face design so that we can access these different personality traits, being helpful, being creative, being inventive, being insightful, being moody, being cranky, being those different things that we as people recognize and that help us to come up with new ideas and help us to do the jobs that we do.
Mm-hmm. So you could literally create a brainstorming team where you have someone that is creative, helpful, and praising.
Yeah.
But you also have someone that is critical
Right.
and a little bit more closed-minded until you prove something to them. Imagine how practical that is to be bouncing ideas off of this group that you're creating.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Right. Let's say, okay, let's do the dog groomer thing.
Okay.
And I have lots of real customers who love their dogs. Right. And I'm trying to bring new customers some ideas for let's raise appeal to both groups.
All right. So we've got input from 4 different focus points, right? We've got Ada suggesting creative product ideas
Yeah.
that appeal to both groups. We've got Brie, who's identifying I love this, what could actually work.
Right.
Operationally, there's a little tone there, Brie.
Creative,
Fit into your current business. All right. Max can research popular trends. Nice. Juno will help us think about how these products might align to a long-term brand vision.
Okay.
All right. You can definitely see the different voices you've brought into the room.
So let's see what Ada and Max can come up with. And do you want to do something for large dog owners or small dog owners?
Let's stick with the large dog owners because they tend to have the most issues. Not the owners, the dogs.
Yeah. For large dog owners, that will help them handle their furry friends' common issues. Now let's see what Ada and Max.
Oh, yeah, there we can tell you number one is actually number one.
Yeah.
Handling shedding, ladies and gentlemen.
Right?
Can I
Yeah.
just present the number one issue? Mobility.
Mm-hmm.
Mobility. We literally just lost a dog to
Ooh.
having, oh my gosh, so sad. Yeah, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with larger breeds. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with them. They just lose their mobility, can't move. Feeding and nutrition. Look at this space, comfort.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm seeing all of this. All right. Heavy dog grooming tools, joint care supplements. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, dog spa treatments. Oh, that's just fun.
Relaxing paw massage. I can go for relaxing paw massage.
I know. See, that's the thing. I would do it for my dog before I do it for myself. What with me?
You could bring in a masseuse. You could bring in somebody with a chair, do chair massage, and the dog and the owner could do it at the same time.
Oh my God, Kay. I think we just started a business.
Yeah.
Watch us start a business right here. See how good your brainstormer is?
I'm thinking franchise.
Oh my God, you add cocktails to that. It's a date.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then all their favorites, the favorite movies for the dogs to watch too. Large dog relaxation package with the owner. And then
Okay,
custom dog,
seriously, I want to start a business now.
right? Kind of. Dog
Okay, this is fantastic.
pet carriers for large. I think I would a dog dolly. They need a dog dolly.
I was gonna say a pet carrier for a large dog. Yeah, that requires a
It needs
tractor.
real. Yeah. Vacuum brushes. Ooh, a Floby.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, look at okay. Now we've kicked in where we've moved from Ada and the creativity, where you and I just got so jazzed about
right.
cocktails and spa day. Now we're moving into what was
Max.
this character's name
This
again?
is Max.
This
Max.
is Max. Okay, so
Max knows
research.
the market. Max knows all about the market.
Max is our market guy. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's got the research-based insights. He's calming us down.
But he may validate it. We haven't gone down the page completely yet.
Okay, so we're looking at shedding solution, the vacuum brushes. So now we know where Floby
Yeah.
was the right idea. Okay, mobility aids.
Step assist.
Okay, dog harnesses. I've purchased a dog harness. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, interactive toys, fitness gear.
Yeah.
Okay, elevated feeders. Okay, all right.
Bulk dog food containers. Yeah.
All right.
And
okay, now here's the interesting part. Look at what we're doing now. We're combining the two personalities
right.
and creating ideas. So we have, oh, look at this large dog grooming subscription box. That's very cool. A big dog package, a grooming service package that includes joint care treatment, premium shampoo tailored to large breeds, custom size comfort product like a mat or a bandana, pop-up events, host occasional large dog days where big dog owners can bring their pets for special grooming, try new products, attend workshops, and okay, you and I can just insert spa right in there with cocktails.
Yes.
That pop-up event is where our idea goes.
Pop-up spa. Yes, exactly. And then
Great.
bring the grill. Steaks for everybody. For the big dog.
Yeah. Bones go to the dogs. No, this is great. I love this. This is really fun. So we're walking through this like real world example. This is an entrepreneur that wants to launch a new product, and we've got not only so many product ideas, But
Mhm.
I'm always enthused the most with AI, with what it sparks in you, in me,
Right.
the ideas that we came up with. I would not have been able to sit here cold and come up with that. I've had large dogs for years
Yeah.
and I've had these problems over and over again, but I
Yeah.
only ever have my mindset at the time,
Right.
my limited number of hours in the day, my own mental exhaustion. That's what's coming to the table. But this,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you and I have a business that involves spas and cocktails and taking care of our dogs at the same
Right?
time.
We get the Sprinter van and just drive around to the Walmart parking lots. You have your pop-up big dog day, you know, shaking up the cocktails in the corner. Probably need to get a license for that, but you can.
I can work on that. Heck, this can help me. Max
Right?
can help me.
Exactly. And now, who was it? Was it Brie? And it's the one. Will it actually work?
Oh, is she our more critical person? Let's
Yeah,
take a
I think
look.
so. Brie is
She's
focusing on
focused.
practicality.
All
Look at
right, Bree. I want Bree to chime in.
Brie. Thank you. Thank you. Brie, can you give us your unvarnished opinion? Which of these ideas just won't work? And which might be practical and attainable? So let us know what you think.
Everybody needs a Bree.
Yes. Okay, Brie, let us have it. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll say, just fight with each other. And then they will. Ha.
Okay. All right. Heavy dog grooming tool,
Yeah.
joint care supplements. Okay.
You're like,
Large dog spa treatments.
we just signed up on the spa.
When? Oh my God, Bree. Bree is my
Thank you.
woman.
Thank you, Brie.
Doable. Space, time, the right staff.
Right.
But if you already have the grooming, you're halfway there. The
Right.
challenge is marketing it well.
Right.
Perhaps a bundle with your regular grooming service. What did we say? Okay, Bree's my girl.
Yeah. Plus, it's like with that email to send out to them ahead of time, either
There you
just
go.
put a mention in there and say, hey, by the way, we're having our big dog day. Take some time. Just enjoy yourself with your furry friend. Custom dog beds or mats, okay. Large dog grooming subscription box. What might not work? Pet carriers. Thank you, Brie.
Okay, thank you for affirming Bree because I was saying
Yeah.
it's going to have to be a tractor.
No carrier. You're gonna put your Newfie in a carrier? Really?
Oh my gosh. No, she has
Real?
stairs to get into.
Right.
It's so huge. She can't do a ramp or anything. She's so huge.
And the dog
Okay.
fitness gear.
Okay.
It's tricky to sell, especially in bulk. Yeah.
Yeah, not happening. All right. They're already pretty, it's how common it is. She's saying the market's saturated.
And they're not going to come to a grooming business to buy one if they can find it online for cheaper.
Valid. They're going to come to the grooming business for the experience and
Yeah.
for someone else taking that heavy lifting off of them.
Exactly.
Right.
And then pop-up events. Yeah, organizing. And plus, it's like, how many people are just wandering around with their big dog?
Okay. So you're not doing pop up. You're doing this at your business. Okay.
Oh, if you had a bunch of customers that were in like a cul-de-sac, you could just pull the Sprinter van up to the cul-de-sac and get out the easy up, and you have your pop-up event. If you know where the dog owners are, then you can go to them. But
That's true. That's true. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. All right. And then those final thoughts, she's focusing on high demand, low complexity. All right. Spa treatments are in. I love highlighting that for me because I need that. That's awesome.
right,
Subscription boxes are in there. Okay. This is so inspiring.
yeah.
All
And
right.
you can do this with anything. It's the sky is the limit, because this is the thing. All the things are in there waiting for us to ask about it. And it has learned all the lessons that people refuse to learn. what works, what doesn't, what has succeeded and what has failed dismally. There's all kinds of stuff in there that's accessible for us, and it's free. And if we know how to ask, and then we don't just sit back with rest on our laurels and say, and if we challenge it and we say, what about this and what about that? You can have this engagement. You can have this ongoing development of conversation and really come up with some very interesting things and ultimately have a richer set of data points to work with. And you just have more information for better decisions and more interesting conversations. This has been a great conversation.
Oh my God.
Talk about
Fascinating.
talking about large dog day spa.
I didn't even know we were going to go there.
And yet here we are, right? And it's viable. And who knows? Maybe somebody who's watching this, they're going to go out and they're going to start doing, maybe they're a dog groomer that, yeah, I'll take that. I'll do it.
Take it.
Right.
Reach out to us. Let us know if we were
Yeah.
going down the right path.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I could do this all day.
Yeah.
So if someone listening right now wants to take action, what's one thing they can do immediately to start using AI to amplify?
Understand what you want to amplify. Or even if you don't, just ask. Because once you get in there, you start having a conversation where you start engaging with it. And it has a way of just being additive. And as you get more comfortable with it, as you realize that you could ask this, you could ask that, and you find your pace with it, you find your rhythm with it, then you can go deeper or you can go broader. You can go in all kinds of different directions, but just engage with it. And even if you're like really wary of it and you're like, Skynet, like I don't want to tell it too much or whatever, just limit yourself. Say, I'm going to spend 5 minutes. I'm going to go to the library, or I'm here at the library. I'm getting my video or picking up my book or whatever, or drop the kids off for their little Saturday morning thing. I'm just going to get on this thing and just play around with it a little bit. You can also use it for things like, I have to go shopping. I know that I'm getting this. I've eaten the same thing 3 days this week. What else can I make? Lots of recipes. And in fact, when you go online and you're looking for recipes, you don't just get the recipe, you get the entire cultural history of the cuisine. And you get all the ads, and you get all this, and you get all that. And somewhere buried at the bottom of the page is this little recipe.
Only like the people that let me click the button that says skip to recipe. That's the only people I like.
Have it mix things up. Say, I've got milk, butter, and eggs and carrots. What can I make? And have it come up with some ideas for you. And say, and if it gives you something, say, I don't like that. What else have you got? And then say, if you had onions, you could make this. Oh, okay, maybe I'll add that to my list. But use it for like little helpful things, or use it for the things that Google is no longer good for, like finding actual information you can use. But just engage with it. Just give it a try. Give it a try. And for things that are generally useful for you, because I have yet to hear anyone complain about AI being used in Netflix. Because AI, I hear a lot of people saying, AI, I won't go near it. You use Netflix, right? Of course. Yeah. So you're using AI.
Guess what?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I really do think that what I would do at this point is I would give someone the link to Brainstormers.
Oh, yeah.
I literally want to go play with it right now.
Right.
I want to brainstorm. When you get in and you want to solve a problem,
Right.
you want to refresh what you're offering currently, or
Right.
you want to get out of the rut you're in right now and really open up creativity around what's possible for me right now. I'm
Right.
leaving a corporate. I'm leaving an industry. And I want to dive into this new thing. And I've got this like seed of an idea.
Right.
Brainstorming tool is just going to help you blow it up into a full-blown business plan.
Exactly. And when you combine it with other things, because Google is really good for the research. They have the deep research with Gemini 1.5 with deep research, but also Google is better for researching market and coming up with sources and things like that. Sometimes it's inaccurate, but you can go over there, ask it to do the research on it, and then take that and copy it into ChatGPT and say, tell me what this is about and see if we can find some ideas from this. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to do with this. And also, I always ask, what am I missing? What haven't I asked that I should be asking? What else do you think I should know that I'm not thinking to ask?
That's a fantastic piece of advice right there.
Mm.
What am I missing?
Yeah. Or if I were asking you the right questions, what would I be asking you? And then it tells me, I'm like, dang it. Wait, why'd you let me go down that path? I should have that stuff the whole time. Yeah. Oh, you know
Feel
what?
free to stop me in the future.
Wait, feel free to jump in. And they're like, I just sometimes I get the feeling it's sitting back there, just it's taking notes. It's going to tell its other AI buddies around the water cooler about this stories about me. I did something really cool. I wanted to do a little bit different analysis on analyzing business health. So I found three, I think they were like sample financial statements from a small business.
Okay.
And I uploaded it and I told ChatGPT to act as though it is the business and talk to me and tell me about how your health is based on these financials.
Oh, interesting.
And then I said, and I think it was a florist business. And I said, this is a florist business. You're a florist business in a small town. I just took over for my mother who just retired and growth is stagnant. What can you tell me about what's going on? And is there something that I can do to turn this around? It is a really interesting conversation.
Wow. So if you already have something, feel free to put it in to add your current, and you can make it anonymous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
You-
make it anonymous. Remove all names, remove all
Mm.
identifying information,
Right.
no
Right.
tax ID numbers,
Exactly.
nothing like that,
None of that. Yeah.
and put that in and brainstorm.
Right.
This
Right.
is where I'm stalled. This is where I'm stagnant.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah. And the ideas that I had were really great. Oh, you should do like little specialty things for holidays. And are you doing anything for holidays? It had all these business ideas, like talking to me as though it were the business saying, this is what I need to do well. This is what I need to survive and thrive.
Oh my gosh, I love this. This has been so educational.
Great.
I absolutely love this and I want to play.
Yeah. And
Where
what
can we get these links?
I'm going to send them to you. And I will also share this chat itself so you can play around with the big dog ideas.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, ladies, as we are listening to this, you're going to be able to link to this and you will be able to play just like we just did. And I bet you that you will be just as excited as we are right now.
Yeah. And the AI Explorer also just that I love that because it's that entry point that I specifically made it to be like, be patient and to explain things and to just for people who are just need training wheels to get in there, who are really uncomfortable with the stuff and just don't even know where to start. But it's just a matter of just getting in there and playing around and get a little sassy with it, talk back to it and boss it around and whatnot.
I don't think anyone that listens to this podcast ever gets sassy, ever.
Never. Whoa.
Never. Wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen. All right. So we have explored an introductory tool with AI Explorer, letting people who need to move past a little hesitation, get their feet wet.
Yeah.
And then for people that have maybe just this inkling or the seed of a business idea, the brainstorming persona team that just is absolutely going to excite the heck out of you and take it to the next level. So I really think between the two, you could literally move from being hesitant to having a complete business plan by the time you get done playing just with these two links.
Oh, yeah. And if if people are like me, hours will pass and you'll realize, what time is it? Oh, bitch. And the other thing too, is that all of this stuff, copy and paste.
Yeah.
With one caveat that sometimes the formatting in ChatGPT doesn't go over, but if you're in like Google Docs, there's a setting in there to accept, it's called Markdown. So that's the format that ChatGPT reads it in. and it formats it. It looks like HTML. It's all the proper formatting. But if you just change it, and if you have a question about it, just ask ChatGPT, say, why is my stuff why I'm putting it in a Google Doc? Why does it look like it looks? And it will tell you what to fix in that.
Yeah.
But save it over to a Google Doc and then you'll have it. And then you can just work your magic. And then you copy paste that in later and say, hey, we talked about this earlier. Can you work with me some more on it?
Yeah, that's the fantastic part, is having it hold on to the memory of the
Yeah.
previous conversation. This has been absolutely fantastic. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love talking about this stuff. I love showing people what's possible because people just don't realize. When they realize, the resistance breaks down a little bit, because when you realize what all is possible and that we can approach this safely, we can be safe and savvy with this stuff.
Yeah.
And we can have boundaries. And if you choose not to deal with it at all, but do it for the right reasons.
Solve a problem you've been struggling with and brainstorm. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
All right, Kay, here's to our future business ventures together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Michelle. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource, created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.